Today we are going to be discussing the truth of live bait fishing here in Arizona. We're going to be going over methods of capture. We're going to be catching some bait ourselves, and then we are going to be catching some big fish, hopefully with that bait. Here we go. Let's get this started. Guys, there are so many misconceptions about fishing with live bait in Arizona. That's illegal, you can't do that. It is actually not against the law, and it is an extremely effective method to come out here and catch a bunch of fish. Today, the information discussed is going to be primarily from Maricopa County. That is the county that I live in and fish in the most. So for that reason, these are all Maricopa specific. It does extend to a couple other counties, but that is what we are focused on today. There's a couple legal ways here to catch live bait. The first and most effective, I believe, is utilizing a cast net. Now the reg states they need to be 4 by 4 feet. No larger than that. I'm also going to be referring to the regulations, the 23-24 regulations here in Arizona. So if you guys want to fact check any of this, be my guest. We are going to be using that today to catch some bait, hopefully. The next method I use quite often is a little minnow trap here. So it is just basically a little bucket with a funnel, and then I always have a piece of bread kind of zip tied to the bottom right there. This allows the minnows to swim in and they cannot get out. You need to catch your bait on site where you are fishing. Absolutely no transporting of live bait whatsoever. I'm assuming that's to prevent algae blooms, stuff that could kill the water, harmful bacteria going to another body of water. Makes sense to me. The 3 primary bait fish that I like to use here the most are bluegill, minnows, and shad. Today we're going to be putting this minnow trap in here to see if we can get some small bait fish and use them for live bait for these bigger fish below the falls. And basically all I have is a string to get that back. We have a piece of bread tied at the bottom, and then these funnels here go in, and these fish go in and they cannot get out. So, and I'm already seeing some bait fish right here, so I'm hoping this is pretty quick. So for these minnow traps, you basically just put them right here in the water. You wait about 20 minutes or so, and then come and check it. You can also use a dip net to kind of dip fish out of the water and scoop them onto the bank. And remember, all these methods can only be used for bait fish. You cannot use them for game fish. No catfish, no bass, no none of that. Only catching live bait. The next method we're going to be using is the cast net, and I just got this one on Amazon. I actually replaced another one that I broke. So if you guys want to check this out, you can. I will have it linked in the description down below. But basically it's going to look like this. This one for some reason has a very long rope on it. The reg states all community waters in Maricopa County. They don't really specify what that means. So it's safe to assume the community waters include the ponds, the canals, everything that the community has access to in Arizona. A lot of people mention you cannot use live bait in the canals. However, if you go on their website, there is no information stating that you can't. So we can only assume that the canals fall under the community water as well. Today we are mainly after minnows and bluegill. I heard there are some shad in here. You can keep both species of shad here, gizzard shad and threadfin shad, but those fish can also be caught on site and used live as well. Basically, the main premise of Arizona is don't transport live fish from one body to another. Algae blooms are a huge thing here. There's always fish dying because of them. So this is a 4x4 cast net right here. We're going to get this out here. Our main goal is just to not get this stuck. Oh, we got a bunch. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that usually doesn't happen there, guys. That usually does not happen. The reg does not really mention how many live fish you can keep at once, so we have to assume that is the daily bag limit for bluegill, and that is 10 bluegill. That is 10 bluegill. So we're gonna pick out the best bait size ones for us here. It can be a real mess when you get a lot of fish like this. Both a blessing and a curse. That's a big one we can throw back. We're going to get rigged up and see if we can catch one. So there's a couple different ways I like to fish live bait here in Arizona, and that way the most popular for me at least is to fish them under a bobber. For some reason the fish really like suspended bait fish here, and I really love to see the bobber takedowns, and I know you guys too. So I usually use a smaller rod, usually medium light to medium, smaller bobber, and a drop shot hook for minnows. And then for the bigger live bait such as bluegill and shad, I like to use a much bigger bobber, some split shots down below, and then a big river bait hook. Another popular method that I used to do a lot more on the Potomac River, not so much here, is sinking live bait. So I'm going to do that as well. You are allowed 2 rods here in Arizona at a time. So we just have a 1.5 ounce weight, a 5/0 Cat Max circle hook. We are going to sink our live bluegill right here on the other side of the pond, and then we are going to bobber fish this little waterfall with a live bluegill as well. When it comes to hooking these baits, there's a couple different ways you can do it, but I've kind of narrowed it down to the way I like the most. It is all personal preference. Everybody says one thing, but there's no right or wrong way to do it. So we're going to grab our little bluegill here. Now you can go through the lips as well, but I find through the back of the tail just below the dorsal fin does the best, for me at least. Just like that. This is our Catch the Fever medium heavy action big cat fever rod right here. I'll leave a link in the description. And then we have our Akuma Seamar 25-pound test mono, and then our leader is a 60-pound leader with a 5/0 circle hook. And we're gonna get this bait right out here. You got to be really careful casting this stuff because they will fly off. We're just gonna get it right there in the bottom. Now I recommend a bait clicker with this method, just because when you get bit on live bait, it is usually not a small bite. They usually just grab it and go. So for that reason alone, I like to use the clicker and then let them eat it and then end up hooking the fish. All right, there we go. Live bait is on the bottom, clicker is engaged. No way. Sometimes the live bait does move around, but I think that's a fish. I think we got picked up immediately, guys. Yeah, that's not the fish. Here we go. Circle hook, let them have it, and boom, fish on. There we go, just sweep to the side, no crazy hook set, and we got a fish first cast. Ooh, good bass. Ooh, good bass. The species you can catch with live bait here are pretty unlimited. I have caught some very nice bluegill on minnows here. I have also caught some very nice catfish on live bluegill, live minnows, obviously largemouth bass, even tilapia will eat live bait. Wow, there we go. You guys saw it. That live bluegill did not stand a chance down there. As long as you're within your limits here in Arizona, you can have some really fun fishing with this stuff. Hooked perfectly in the side. This is why I like using circle hooks, especially on the bottom. You can just set the hook and get them right in the corner. Hook pops right out. Even yellow bass, crappie, just going to tail hook them. Is that going to stay on? As you guys saw, that literally took seconds. That doesn't always happen, but don't be surprised if your live bait gets bit immediately. It's not out of the ordinary. And this time, let's see if we have time to get one on the bobber rod. Now this is basically, well, not basically, this is a different setup here. And I like to use a smaller hook on the bobber just to make it look a little more natural. You could use whatever size hook you guys want. I recommend a bigger hook though. You can cast it out in the pond, leave it there and let it sit. You can drift it down falls if you guys have falls. Drift it down the canal. There's all kinds of fish to be caught in there. For today, we're going to be drifting it down this little waterfall right here. First cast, I'm gonna go right behind this rock and see what happens. But like I said, guys, really fun and effective method for catching fish. Whether you sink them or you float them, it is just fun. He just got eaten. Oh, and we missed him somehow. I know you guys saw that. And boom, there, he got eaten. Just like that, guys. Just like that. This fish seems to just be sitting there with it in his mouth. I usually like to feel, you can feel him pulling on there, and then reel up, and boom, we got him. Doing really good on the bottom today. Really good on the bottom, guys. Wow, here we go. Here we go. This is another bass. Sometimes they just sit there with it. Very popular method to catch bass and catfish. It's not as big as the first one, but all fun to catch. The bites are unbeatable, unbeatable. Like I said, guys, a fun and effective way to catch fish. We still have to get our bobber fish. Oh, we may have him here. He's surfing. Sometimes they'll just have it like that, surfing. Oh, did he drop it? I think he might have. Oh, no, he didn't. We're gonna let him have it for a second. Got him that time. Got him that time. There we go. Look at that. Good bass there. Good bass. And that time it looks like we got him right on the top of the lip. And that's the hook set we strive for right there. I'm gonna attempt to swing him. Oh. And this is what you guys can catch as well using that live bait. Just amazing. Really happy to see that it works good here. Using it on a bobber or using it on the bottom, it doesn't matter. I think it's about time to check our minnow trap and see if we have any in there. We'll see here what we got. Definitely got some in there. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. And that's how effective it can be sometimes, guys. Only use the lawful methods. Only use this for catching live bait. Cannot catch game fish like this. That is unlawful. All right. And once you take what you're gonna use, be sure and put the rest back in there. Sometimes it's not like that, like I said, but today that's how it worked out for us. I have caught yellow bass on minnows, crappie, obviously bass, bluegill and even catfish. I find the best way to hook minnows is right through the top of the lips. We're gonna get them out here. We're just gonna drift in our usual spot. I like to use a smaller bobber as well. Keep that drift nice and natural. And we're just going along with the current, letting line out. And when we get bit, you guys will see that bobber either stop and start swimming side to side, or you'll see it just go straight under. There's only 2 bait fish that you can buy from bait dealers and transfer to other places. That being golden shiners, which I've never seen at a bait shop, and minnows. I usually get my minnows from Liar's Corner, or I will trap them on site and use them. And sometimes, guys, the bait just dies and you have to switch it out. It is unfortunate, but that's how it goes. And we're getting some movement. Getting some movement. Oh, got him. Got him that time. Got him that time, finally. That took a bit. That took a bit there. I don't even know what this is. It's a bluegill. Just like I was saying, guys, sometimes those massive bluegill will come up and eat the live minnow. Look at that. Massive. These fish are predatory. This is what they want to eat. Like I said, very exciting way of fishing. I also have an aerator here, so this is the bait bucket that I use. A bigger one. It is also insulated, and that's mainly because we live in Arizona here, so it has a little foam protector. But this is what I recommend if you're going to keep your bait alive all day and you cannot keep it in the water. We got some bubbles going here. This will help give oxygen to all these fish and they will survive. Oh, we grabbed a little bluegill this time. Look at that. Bluegill this time. And we're gonna throw it out there, same method. We wait for that bobber to go down, give it a few more seconds, set the hook. I believe we're dealing with some bigger bluegill here. They just keep killing this minnow right under. Got him that time. Got him that time. My goodness. I think that's what we got again, is another big bluegill, guys. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They really, really love those minnows. This one we were able to hook perfectly. He's got that minnow down in his throat. Wow. What an awesome fish. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful bluegill. Like I said, those minnows will catch it all. I'm gonna attempt to get 2 baits in the water. We'll go straight out there in front of the rocks. We've really been getting these fish everywhere. Drag it into that current. This is oftentimes where fish will sit, wait for ambush, right under. Right under. Ooh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. I thought that was gonna be another bluegill and he just took off. Wow, here we go. Here we go, guys. Live minnows. They are really amazing. They are amazing. Oh, he's running. He is running. You can get some really, really nice fish on live minnows. I think this is a bass. Even bass will bite them. Even bass. Look at that. We got 6-pound tests on this rod, just having fun. There he is, hooked in the corner of the mouth. Lip this guy like a professional. There we go. Oh, amazing fish. Amazing fishing on live bait. Huge shout out to Marshall for letting me do this. Let's let him go. He fought amazing on the 6-pound test. These methods work very well. I think they work best in the canals and some of the other ponds. Sometimes these fish will come up and kill your minnow, and then after that, now that the action's gone, they will not bite it again. So 90% of the time you got to replace that. Sometimes I try to push my luck. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. Right under. I think this is another panfish, guys. These bluegill have been insane today. Insane. Look at this giant. Oh, that might be the biggest one. Oh, that is the biggest one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Guys, that is massive. Oh my goodness. I mean, he's got shoulders. He has got some shoulders on there. Absolutely massive bluegill. Get out there, give it a try. You might be surprised with fish like this. Wow.